Hi and welcome to Silver Soul Tarot. Today we are going to do a chakra reading. Just as I was trying to figure out which reading to start with, I looked at the chakra stones and got a nice little ringing in my left ear, so we're going to start with these ones today. Okay, so we're just going to take from the Heal Yourself Oracle as we work our way up the chakras, and then we will hit the Urban Tarot deck just to clarify any messages that want to come through. So shall we crack straight on? So the first card out for our root chakra. So your root chakra is physical identity, stability, and your sense of safety, sort of your base energy. So let's see what the first card out is. Procrastination. Okay, is someone feeling like they're a bit of a procrastinator? You know, sometimes it's very easy to put off to tomorrow what you can do today, but sometimes it's better to just get that energy cleared. So what are you procrastinating about? Let's find out, shall we? So the first card out is the Two of Pentacles, Two of Coins, which is change. So maybe you're procrastinating about making a change with this imagery. It could potentially be excuse me, a change in your physique in some way, whether it's starting to work out literally, or changing up the way you look. Maybe you feel like you need a bit of a change, but you're kind of waiting. I'm kind of in that energy. There's I need to kind of dump out some of my underwear. I know it's really weird, sorry to have to sort of tell you this, but I'm kind of gathering up all the new bits in before I dump out all the old bits, go through the bits that I want to get rid of. I just dropped loads of cards. That's far too many cards. Yeah, so maybe you're just kind of like do I, don't I kind of energy. I would always say yes, do it with change. Get things changed, get things moving. I think I've picked all the cards, there's far too many. So yeah, but it's about finding that balance of staying who you are fundamentally, obviously, but also changing up anything that you feel like it's time to get changing. And we've got the Six of Cups with a pleasure. So maybe there'll be some pleasure found in this new dynamic that you are going to start changing. It could just be quite simply that you will find some pleasure. Maybe the way you change the way you look will change the way you feel, which might attract different people into your life. Okay. So, moving on to our sacral chakra, this is our emotional identity, creativity and desire. So the card for, I can't shuffle, the card for that is, how teachable are you? That's a great question. How teachable are you? Okay, how open are you to changing? Maybe just learning a different way of looking after yourself. Well, yes, how teachable are you? Are you open to change? Do you want to change? Do you know how you want to change? It's all very easy to sit here and say, oh, it's time to change. But if you don't know how you want to implement that, then obviously it's easier said than done. So for the tarot, we have got the death card here. There's this death and rebirth here, okay? It's about changing something. There's something that needs to be changed up that then can allow some interesting, pleasurable times to come in. So yeah, it's about changing something, learning something, or learning something about your health, maybe with the heart there in the middle. And with this change, it could be maybe you need to do some more cardiovascular workouts. Random message there for someone, maybe. Or just it's time to start looking after your physicality a lot more. And I wonder if the heart there might be a message for someone specific. Okay, so we've got the Emperor. He's obviously all about making those power moves. He's the King of Kings. He's the warrior energy. Maybe now's the time to start making those moves towards a healthier lifestyle. This might be the message of today, but we'll see what else wants to come out. So we're moving on up to our solar plexus. So this is your ego, your identity, your personal power and your ambition. And that card flipped over, have faith. Okay, so it could be literal faith, as in with the divine, or it could just be to have faith in what it is that wants to come through. So I just realised that was a little bit out of focus. Have faith in yourself, even. Have faith in the steps you're taking and the moves you're making forward, whether that's physically or otherwise. Okay, let's take a couple of the tarot. And we've got the matriarch. Okay, so she's the queen of discs, the queen of coins, the queen of pentacles. It's a coin and a disc. Whatever. It could be maybe grounding yourself a little bit more, leading with your head. As you see, she's almost got this like halo around her. Maybe looking at diet for someone. It could just be in the normal tarot, the Queen of Pentacles is about fertility and being very grounded, and so maybe there's some grounding that needs to be done. Maybe get outside and do some exercise. And the next card out is the Three of Swords. I'm just going to hide a little bit of that imagery with sorrow. Okay, maybe you've had some bad news. I hope not. I mean, I'm no doctor, but if you've been told by a medical professional that maybe there's something wrong and you need to pay a little bit more attention to your physicality, or maybe you lost someone in a way that has brought, you know, a little bit of a, oh, maybe I should start looking after myself kind of energy. Maybe a paternal or maternal, somebody on the female side, you know, somebody who is a female in your family, or someone you can just go to and talk to. She's very grounded, the Queen of Discs. Right, sorry, so moving on up to our heart chakra. So this is your social identity, love, relationships. So this is wild. So maybe somebody was a little bit wild with that, what's the word? In their youth, maybe, you know, and now Father Time's catching up with us all, and you might have to start looking at the way you treat yourself. It's an interesting read. I don't know why it wanted to come out first, but let's keep going, because you never know. There might be some other messages coming through. This doesn't have to be a physical working out, but there's definitely something that needs to change up. Something you've been putting off, which is a shame, because it really could bring in some power moves and some pleasure. Maybe you've been a little bit too pleasurable in your time. I don't know. Right, the Eon, okay. This is the Judgment card in this deck. So maybe it's time to take a little bit of a look at yourself, at how you've acted in the past, whether you've actually learnt anything from certain situations. It's about being judged by the universe, but it's also about judging yourself. Okay, see that kind of mirroring image there where she's a different person, you know. It's not the same person. She's dropped some of the baggage that she's been carrying with her through past lives. Maybe it doesn't even have to be a past life as in, 10 years ago. It can be as in a past life from literally a different lifetime. But it's about time to look at yourself a little bit and just see whether or not you're on the right path. I think is definitely I don't think you're on the wrong path, but just take a look and see if there's anything that you can change up. And then the next card out we've got is the Three of Discs, which is works. So something's building here, like someone could well have been working on themselves. If this is you, you've already been putting in some work. You kind of realised it was time to stop procrastinating, or now's the time to take that first step, build that first layer, and then work your way up. It's really hard to do it when you're looking down on the table, so sort of working up like that. It's hard to do it when you're looking at a 2D surface. Yeah, so take a good long look at yourself, and you know, I know it's very easy to sit here and be like, oh, but I've done it. You know, I've taken a long hard look at my life and still got some sorting out to do, but sorted out a lot of stuff. It's very, well, it's very dark night of the soul-esque. Okay, so moving on, that was the heart chakra, wasn't it? Yes, so this is the throat chakra. So this is self-expression, communication and integrity. So the card out we have got is Unleash Your Creativity. Let me do that. Okay, so unleash your creativity. It's time to look at different ways of doing things. Maybe switch, I said, you know, down here, maybe it's looking at a different way of working out, or looking after yourself. Time to put aside some bad habits, something that you've been doing for a long time, but maybe it's not, you know, it's not something you can carry on into the next phase of your life. Again, like I say, I know I had to do it. I gave up smoking, and the other day I was like, oh, I could really do with a cigarette, but I didn't smoke. I was very brave. I was a very brave girl, and I didn't do it. But I understand the leaving behind things that are no longer good for you. Trust me. Okay, then we got art and temperance, which is kind of why you might hear my throat play up every now and again, because I the damage is done. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so temperance. So it's about making those changes. It's about pouring the energy from different cups. You know, it's about brewing. There's alchemy. It's knowing whether to stop or to start. You know, you got the stop and the walking man there. But it's about creating something, okay? Unleash your creativity with the art card coming out is an interesting energy. So yeah, maybe take up some art, something artistic, something more creative in that sense. Okay. And then we've got the Three of Wands with Virtue. It's about climbing that ladder. Whenever I see this card, it's about climbing the ladder out of the smoke, out of the fire, out of the base energies down here, and moving your way up through the stages, you know, up through the next stage, next cycle, next path you want to take, however you want to look at it. So I was just pulling them down a bit because I don't think we're going to fit the next cards on here, but we'll squeeze it in. Yeah, so take that next step, look at yourself and walk away from what no longer serves you. She's walking away. Oh, she's not walking away from. She's walking away from what she's completed. So if you completed a cycle, it's okay to walk away. It's probably a better way of interpreting that card. Okay, so moving on to the third eye chakra. So this is your self-reflection, intuition and clarity of sight. And we've got sexuality. Okay, let's see what this is about, shall we? Maybe, like I say, maybe you start looking a bit better and start attracting different people into your life. Maybe you start stepping into your feminine power a little bit more. You're more of your sexuality. Maybe you've been in emperor mode a little bit too long and now you need to be in your feminine mode. And here you get the Six of Coins with success. So there's some power here. There's some, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, success would be a great word, obviously. But there's some, like I say, a cycle completing can then bring in the next chapter because you've succeeded in taking that step forward. You've looked at yourself, you've worked out, or you know, you've looked after yourself in some way. You've been through this death and rebirth that's allowing you to take the next step forward. And then you got the Seven of Swords, with futility. Okay, so hanging around and not accepting who you are is actually quite futile, and it's kind of a bit pointless. Yeah, I mean, the Seven of Swords in the original tarot, I don't really like going back to the original tarot with these ones, but sometimes I do. You know, it's maybe a little bit deception, a little bit of deceit. So maybe you were lying to yourself about something, about who you are fundamentally. Message out there for someone. Yeah, you're about to step into a very successful period of your life because you've been putting in some work in the background. It feels like you need to kind of just make that. Maybe procrastination is what you need to get done and over with. And trust me, I'm a Taurus, I know all about procrastination. You'd be surprised at what I can put off. So moving on to the crown chakra, this is our self-knowledge, our spirituality, and the connection to the divine soulmate. So maybe when you step into your sexuality, you step into who you are, your understanding of who you truly are. Again, like I said, maybe working out. And I don't mean to say that, you know, you have to be thin to be beautiful. That's not what this is at all. But it's more about feeling better about yourself and looking, you know, when you look good, you feel good. And that attracts in what is meant for you. It's almost like being in that power, in that energy, will call it into you. Especially when you're, you know, working behind the scenes, you know, looking at yourself and dealing with addictions and things head on. I'm actually quite surprised the devil's not come out, but you never know. There's still a card to go. Okay, so we've got the Prince of Wands, which is the journalist. And whenever I see this card, let me put that down a second. Whenever I see this card, he's pointing to you. He's pointing to us, okay? And it's very much this, it could be a message, you could be getting a message coming through, or some sort of announcement, some sort of communication. But it's like finding something out. There's this, like, it's almost like he's challenging you, but not in a bad way, but he's kind of very much looking at you and pointing at you, okay? The journalist is all about giving you information. Yeah, he's supposed to check his sources, you know, be sure of what it is that he's telling you is true and accurate. So I've just got a feeling this is a little wink from the divine as to say, yep, you know, I'm calling you out, you need to step up, okay? Or this is coming in for you and only you. Let's see what the last card is. And then we'll just take a couple of healing mantras just to close out. Truce. Okay, so the Four of Swords with truce. So maybe it's time to call a truce with battling yourself, with procrastinating and putting those blocks up and slowing yourself down, okay? I definitely feel there's this element of you need to put some faith out into the universe about, and a faith in yourself as well, that you can change things up. It doesn't have to be physical, although I do kind of get this impression down here there's someone just putting off, you know, because it's very easy to put off. But just getting things moving and getting the energy right and working towards whatever it is that you want, you know. If you want to improve yourself physically, or if you want to improve yourself emotionally, or your stability, or, you know, because, you know, with the works here, it's about just, you know, building up and up. Whatever you're doing at the moment is almost futile, and it's not helping you in the long run. Okay, let's take a couple of these healing mantras just to close out the energies and the reading. Overcoming fear. I will transcend every loss. Yeah, sometimes it's good to let things go, though. Sometimes it is good that something's not necessarily a loss. It's more of a, what's the word? Blessing in disguise. Okay, we'll take one more, and that is liberating love. I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I am willing to give. The more you put out, the more you'll get back. The better you look, the better you feel, you know, about yourself. You're going to attract in people who are going to mirror you as a soulmate would. So I'm going to leave it there. Say thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.